Welcome to The Land, your bet sports betting podcast. Josh Lander coming to you with 5 games on an NBA Tuesday here in season tournament time. Once again, all the vibrant courts will be out here on Tuesday. We had a great night on Monday. I've got all the picks here to show you from a great night in the Coast to Coast podcast, which I will always make sure to send you over to. We've got a full list of 8 picks for Tuesday night slates over there on thelines.com's YouTube page, where Nate and I have our Coast to Coast podcast every morning. I also am going to show you those picks right here because I had to get this one out a little late. I wanted to confer with Nate on some of these picks, but let's look at what we did here on Monday night. A really good night. Overall 5-3. Cannot believe Harden came up short on the assists and points combined that Nate liked. You'll see a little bit of discrepancy there. I liked Harden under 7.5 assists, which he went under. Nate liked him over 23.5 points and assists, which he did not go over. So anyway, we ended up with 5-3 on the night, still up about 3.5 units for everybody overall there. Giannis had a nice ladder. Hopefully you took that. His over 5, 6, and 7 assists all hit for me. That was my favorite bet. I'm going to be going through 3 of our bets that we spoke about on the other show for you guys here in just a minute, because those are my favorite. And I want to make sure you know which ones I'm putting the bulk of my units on out of all the picks that we made for the day. Here are those picks for those of you who just want to kind of get the money and run, if you will, and then duck out of here. Don't do that. I hate that. I need the average view time. But anyway, if that's what you want, here's the plays. Tuesday's plays from the Coast to Coast podcast. Pacers over 124.5 points in a 252-point total that's expected and projected between those two teams. LA Lakers to cover the 7.5. Key note there, make sure that LeBron James is playing. He is questionable as I'm recording this. He's always questionable, but he's also playing the Mavs on a back-to-back tomorrow night on Wednesday. So there's the possibility that he's gearing up to play against Kyrie and Luka and doesn't want to spend any energy playing a really bad Jazz team right now. We'll see what happens. Just monitor that. If he's out, I don't nearly like the 7.5, but if it drops a bit, it's a pretty good bet at home if AD is playing as well, which he's not even on the injury report. So Cavs plus 7.5. Nate and I both agree, like, Darius Garland is very fine when it comes to running this offense. He doesn't need Donovan Mitchell in there to necessarily create some pretty quality offense for the Cavs when he's at the helm as the main point guard and distributor and playmaker. They just beat the Denver Nuggets in a situation like this. Now they take on the 76ers, and so we're going to take them at plus 7.5 and what should be a good game. I've got a same game parlay with Yusuf Nurkic. I'll talk about that here. 12 plus points and the Phoenix money line. Jalen Johnson of the Hawks, Nate's first player prop, over 25.5 PRA. Like I said, that game is going to have a ton of points. I think he's a really good bet to beat up on the Pacers from his position on the court, where they're very weak actually on defense. Keontae George, the rook out of Utah. Incidentally, I have 80-1 on him, a ticket for 80-1 for him to win Rookie of the Year. I don't know that that's going to happen, but he's starting his pursuit of that award by getting a lot more minutes and time. And we'll talk about that and why I'm taking over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Keontae George. Cam Reddish, over 1.5 3-pointers made, going to be the beneficiary of a lot of open shots, I think, off of the dribble drive penetration that these Lakers guards will be able to get against a really weak Utah defensive backcourt. And finally, I'm taking LeBron over 25.5 points. Nate doesn't like it because he says that which I understand his logic, to be honest. The Lakers are playing the Mavs tomorrow night on a back-to-back. Kyrie and Luka, the Mavs in town. It's like, okay, well, the Lakers are probably he's going to care about that game. Let's just be honest. Both he and Kyrie and Luka, all these guys care about this game. It's always a fun matchup. He's going to want to be rested for that. He's questionable. He might not play. If he does play, it is possible he doesn't play the 35 minutes that he's used to. If that's the case, I don't like the bet as much. But if he does play, I'll probably going to put a little bit on it because he loves playing against the Jazz so much. Has averaged 31 points a game against them in his last 4, being able to just get into the lane and cut through this defense, which is Swiss cheese. So I'm going to put a little bit on it, but be cautious. I'm going to go through my 3 favorite bets right now with you so you know exactly where I'm putting the bulk of my money. The first one here, Keontae George, over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I do want to say I should start tracking these because this is my favorite bet of the night. And I'm going to start tracking my favorite bet each night so that you know exactly how I'm doing on the ones that I'm really pushing towards you guys rather than just some of them I'm bringing up and I'm putting a little bit on each night. But definitely use unit control because, one unit is like a full vote of confidence that I have in this bet for Keontae George. So look, he's the starting point guard now. Taylor Horton-Tucker is not anymore, which that was an experiment gone wrong for the Jazz. He was had some awful shooting splits, 38% from the field, 31 from three, and was turning the ball over 2.5 times a game. Wasn't awful on the assist to turnover, but wasn't really creating plays either. Not getting the amount of assists that you might want from a guy who had a lot of weapons at his disposal on that starting lineup for the Jazz, especially when Walker Kessler's in, but he's been hurt for a while. So now we've got Keyonte George. He is up to 21.5% and 30 minutes per game in terms of the usage rate, his last 4 since he assumed that starting role. He is up to 12th in the league in potential assists, which is wild to me that this rook is getting in so many good positions to create open shots for his guys on the Jazz there, which is a really good offense, especially with him in it now as the leader of it. So he gets to go up against D'Angelo Russell. We know what that means in terms of opponents who go up against a dude with a 115.5 defensive rating individually on the season for D'Angelo Russell. It was a real big reason for us loving that De'Aaron Fox bet the other night that hit a little bit sweaty. Shouldn't have been, but it was. But that was a large part of it, is D'Lo's inability to stop penetration and to stop guys from being able to get their shot off, honestly, which is something that Keyonte George does really well when he's on the dribble, and definitely will be able to create for others as well off of being able to beat D'Lo. So I'm going to go the over points, rebounds, and assists for Keyonte. He's taken 6 threes a game, I will say. It's over 1.5 if you wanted to take the over on a 3-point prop for him. I don't hate it, but his percentage isn't great. He'd need to shoot 33% at the 6 that he's taking. So if he got there, pretty good shot. If he took the 6, it's a pretty good chance that he makes the 2. If you wanted to take that and find some good odds for the 3-point prop there for him, if you shop that around. Cool. All right, moving on to the Jusuf Nurkic. I love how I said cool, like somebody was going to respond to me. Nurk and Ayton, I think, are both interesting plays tonight as they just swapped spots, right? And traded their jerseys when they were traded in the offseason as part of that Dame trade, by the way, with 3-teamer with Milwaukee. But Nurk now in Phoenix, and I think he'll be excited to play against Ayton, basically. 12 points and the Suns money line. That's the same game parlay that I'm putting together for him. So he needs to get over 11.5, plus the Suns money line needs to hit. They're 13.5 points favorite. 13.5 point favorites, and I could easily see this being a blowout, but I believe they're going to get Nurk his in the meantime, and even if they don't give it to him, the rebounds should be there for him as well. Look, I mean, Ayton's going to get his boards, but the point is the points for Nurk at just 12, if he stays out of foul trouble, he gets that. Portland forces the 10th fewest fouls a game, so that's what we're banking on here. Dominating, doesn't go to the free throw line. I think he has half a free throw attempt a game as a center. Think about that. A man who nicknamed himself Dominatin' before going into Portland and putting up half a free throw attempt a game. So Nurk shouldn't be, sort of elicited into getting foul troubles, if you will. Like, I don't think that Ayton's going to be able to get to the free throw line. Like, he doesn't. Nobody really does. Even Jeremy Grant, who I guess you put at the 4 for this team, not really going to the rim very hard with the points in the paint. So Portland is allowing the 4th most points per game to centers, because they're also allowing the 4th most rebounds overall. And just everywhere down low is where you can get buckets against this team. Even if you look at sort of like right outside the restricted area, maybe in the 6 to 10 feet area with the little floaters and everything, like, it's all available. But you can also get right to the rim if you want against a guy who's got an awful opponent field goal percentage at the rim in terms of DeAndre Ayton, especially for a center. So he's gone over 3 of 4 versus Ayton in their matchups when they were on the other teams here for Nurk. So I think he always has had success against this team, against Ayton, when he doesn't get into foul trouble. And even more so than normal, Ayton is not inducing fouls, like I said, on his opposing big man. So plenty of opportunity to get Jusuf Nurkic 12 plus points. And then the money line is just to bump that up to about plus 122 on FanDuel, which is where I took it. All right, last bet. Cam Reddish. I really like this bet, man. Nate found this one, and I'm a big fan, so I'm giving it to you guys here as well, talking about why I like over 1.5 threes for Cam. And it's plus money if you have a Bet365 account. That's the best odds at plus 135. It might have gotten down a little bit there, but they're usually a little bit late to take down the lines that are still good value for us. But either way, you should be able to apply plus money for Cam Reddish to hit over 1.5 threes in this game. In his last 5, his minutes are up, and that's what we got to follow. And a big reason for that is he's healthy, and LeBron James wants him on the floor when LeBron James is on the floor. So 34 minutes a game in his last 5. In that, he's hit this 3 out of 5 times in terms of the 2 threes. And the 2 teams he didn't hit it against are really, really good at defending the 3 right now, with maybe a little bit of luck in there. But yeah, the games that he has hit the threes, against Memphis, who is 30th defending the 3-point line. Sac is 25th. And then now we're going into the Jazz here, who in their last 6 specifically are the worst team in defending threes, allowing 16 per game at 41%. So the two teams that he did not hit it against, incidentally, was Portland, who is much better at defending the 3-point line, and Houston, who's really good as well, number 3 in terms of opponent 3-point percentage. So this is a game where he's going to have a lot of minutes, and I expect him to have 5 to 6 3-point attempts as well. Should be good to get there. Like the 40% that he's shooting in the games against teams that are not good at defending the 3-pointer, pretty indicative of what should happen in this one for Cam, especially with the way I was talking about LeBron able to just get what he wants where he wants it. Even D'Lo, same concept. I think Austin Reeves will get in the lane, although he hasn't really been kicking out very much because he's trying to get to the free throw line. But D'Lo and LeBron and company should be able to find Cam pretty open for 3, especially if the defense collapse on AD. Another potential angle there for AD assists as well, because he's going to have no trouble with the lack of Walker Kessler down there defending for the Jazz. So I think Cam Reddish is a good bet. AD, I'm starting to talk myself in the assists as well. Follow along on Twitter. That's where I've been always making sure that I give these the updated bets to you guys as injuries come out, things like that. So as I mentioned, LeBron is going to be questionable, so you want to make sure he's playing. I'll be talking about that on Twitter as well to make sure that you know how I'm playing the news that comes out. So here's a look at all 8 of the bets that we have once more for those of you watching on YouTube, and I'll go ahead and wrap that up for now, as that is all the time that I have with you guys. So appreciate you all coming in. A lot of new subscribers, man. We're getting up there in views, subscribers. I see you guys commenting, which is much appreciated. Let me know if you're tailing. For real, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you've got bets that maybe you'd like to make me privy to, friends helping friends would be awesome. But like and subscribe to that page. Much appreciated. Until I see you next, which will be tomorrow. Happy betting.